Well, today I'm making a video that has some things that I haven't been doing in a while. Specifically, I actually not only have a title, but I've written a blurb, and hopefully I will get back into the process and habit of writing a blurb and of more or less preparing what I'm doing rather than just shooting from the hip, as has been going on since I had all these issues at the hospital. The title is this: Is everyone being challenged? For those of you who have been keeping up with my current posts since the end of March, you know that I have been facing life-threatening challenges. However, I'm not the only one. My family too is being challenged, along with many of my friends. The challenges are not all the same, though they all force us to take inventory. What do I believe? What do I want? Of course, the answers will be as varied as there are people. However, the status quo cannot be maintained. Something has to give. Indeed, this year has been the most challenging year I can remember in my entire life. I have been forced to really look at what I believe, how I'm handling things, and I don't always come out with good answers either. I don't always handle things in the way that I feel is best, but I'm pressured like I've never been pressured before. I don't know how many others are facing this. I do know the ambassador, for example, has also been facing quite interesting challenges. And of course, my family is facing challenges. Just dealing with me is facing a challenge, with my daughter, husband, and 3 grandchildren living under my roof, and my son spending time with me every single day, letting some of his work be pushed aside so that his income flow is less than normal. However, we're all handling the situation to the best of our ability. And I'm sure each of you are doing the best you can, and sometimes you're happy with the results of your decisions, and other times you may be a little bit disgusted with the way that you handled something. Maybe that's not true for you, but I do know it's true for me. In any case, as I said, the human race is in a crossroads right now. We are facing a paradigm shift of mammoth proportions. The old system of fraud and deception and greed and just bad government, bad business, bad everything. Everything is a lie. Everything is based on untruths and suppositions that just don't hold weight ultimately, including the fact, of course, that we, the creditors of the world, because the world has been given to us, the people. It was not given to governments. It was not given to corporations. It was not given to entities, which by very definition are not real. They are false things. A corporation is not a real entity. It is a distortion of an entity, but it's not a real entity, and they were created to further the lies that the human race has been told for a long, long time, that we are less than rather than more than. And most people have bought into the propaganda that we are less than what we were created to be. We are slaves of a system built on falsehoods, built on suppositions that, as many of us are realizing now, cannot be sustained. You cannot build a world on debt. You have to build a world on substance, on what is real and what is tangible, not something that is artificial, which debt is always artificial. It's something that we're said to owe. We actually owe nothing for living as human beings. We do not owe the government anything. We do not owe corporations anything. We own, if we will see it, we own ourselves, and we must take responsibility for our own choices. And this is something that I'm doing, and it's something that I feel everyone is being forced in one way or another to look more closely, to really examine what is it that I want, what is it that I believe. We are being forced to take inventory of ourselves, one way or another, as the old paradigm comes crashing down and the new paradigm, like a newborn baby, is coming out of the womb and beginning to manifest itself and beginning to learn how to walk and beginning to learn how to talk and beginning to learn how to take control back from the false system to a system where truth matters, where not like our courts, not like our governments, not like our corporations, but reality, like we are responsible for something and we have opportunities and we have, of course, challenges over and over again to look at and ask ourselves the important questions, which I've already stated and said in this blurb and in the context of the video itself. So it's an interesting journey that we're on. I would just look at the time, how long I've been recording, and I've not, it's only been a little over 6 minutes. And I wonder how I used to do videos that were 15 to 20 minutes long, most of them. And, and right now I feel like I've been talking for a long time and it's only 6 minutes into it. I hope that improves as things go on, but right now the truth is, I do have some mental gaps still. I do need to be healed from the stroke so that there's no more blood clots in my body and I can get off of these damn medications, which I think only create side effects that make life unpleasant for me. And I don't want to get in and talk about that so much, but that's some of the things that challenge me right now. And it's difficult handling the challenges in a way that I feel is on a level that I used to be at. It was actually mid-February, by the way, that I first noticed that something was wrong in my life. I was with a friend, and we were going to go for a walk on the beach. And he lived close to the beach, but not right on the beach. And by the time we got to the beach, I was so out of breath that I had to sit down. I could not walk on the beach at all. That was the first indication, that was mid-February, that something needed to be changed. And what I did change is I ended up going in and changing my diet almost completely. I wanted to become as much of a vegetarian as I could possibly be. I still have unopened or almost full jars of nutrients and other things that I bought at the time. Some of them didn't even come until after I was in the hospital, after the end of March. But I was bound and determined to lick the problems that I was facing physically. Shortness of breath, low energy, lots of things that were panicking me at the time. And I made drastic changes. Of course, when I went into the hospital, the vegetarianism went out the door because any food that they considered healthy food was tasteless food. And I don't like tasteless food. I like food that tastes good. And of course, hospitals are not known for feeding you the most healthy food. At least I don't believe they are. I don't see them as serving healthy food. Everything is genetically modified pretty much, and you don't really have a choice if you want something to taste reasonably good. I don't even know how many times I tried to order something that was healthy, and I'd end up giving most of it back because it was unpalatable. I could not even eat it. And that's a laugh because I had to go back to where I used to be, to not questioning and just to be thankful for whatever it was that I had. And that if it tasted good, that was all the better. I was able to finish many meals because I did not try to stick to what was, quote, the healthiest choice, because they were the worst tasting choices for me. But I did make a lot of changes between mid-February and the end of March, when I finally had a stroke that woke me up and made me really take inventory. Now, I'm going to reiterate what happened when I had the stroke. It was a Saturday night, and I was wanting to go hear my son's band play. That was my full intention. But when I woke up, the whole right side of my body was numb. And I went to stand up, and I collapsed. Now I don't know how long I was out exactly, but it was close to an hour that I was trying to get back on my feet. My body felt as if it was tangled up like a pretzel. And I finally was able, I think in about an hour, to get to my feet and sit on the edge of my bed. My body was still numb on the entire right side. It felt actually as if it had shrunk. Although I don't believe that that's the reality, that was the feeling that I had. And I kept praying and focusing my energy on good. And within 2 to 2.5 hours, I was up and walking and finally opened my door and went out to say hello to my family and tell them what had happened. Now, of course, they wanted me to go to the hospital, uh, but I thought I was completely healed. I didn't realize that memory lapses were involved. So by Monday evening, I was being admitted to the hospital, and the rest is history, as they say. I went through the open heart surgery. They realized it wasn't just a stroke, that my heart was not functioning properly at very low capacity. In fact, I'm told right now it's only 15 to 20% capacity, part of which is my fault for not doing the breathing exercises, as my son keeps reiterating to me that I was supposed to be doing after the surgery to make sure my lungs would be able to operate at higher capacity. They're supposed to operate, I think, only at 60 to 70% capacity, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why they don't call it 100%, but that's what I've been told. In any case, there I was back in the hospital, and when they realized how bad my heart was, they transferred me from the Melbourne Hospital, Holmes Regional, to Shands up at the University of Florida in Gainesville. And I went through all of those processes, and as I said, it changed my diet, it changed everything. And I've had to re-examine what I want and where I'm going, because it's not easy to go through what I've gone through and to make choices that are ultimately going to be the best. There's people challenging me, but there is my own life situation that is challenging me. I do want to get on the bandwagon with the ambassador and with the people that are setting up the new paradigm. A lot of it coming out of China, the old China, not the new China, the old China that is actually spiritually based by the family. And I didn't even know some of the things that I've learned. But there's a whole paradigm shift going on, folks. And I believe that we're all going to be challenged, if not right now, at some point in the very near future. We're going to have to answer the question, what do I want? What do I feel is the most important thing? We're going to have to make decisions that are not easy decisions, because that's where we are in the evolution of human consciousness, in the evolution of our soul. So I thank you for listening to this video, and I see I did talk over 13 minutes, which I'm very pleased with that I was able to keep going. I thank you for listening, as I've always done, and I hope that I'm able to continue making videos that I hope are considered quality videos, where I talk about our human situation and the challenges that we face as we create, or as the new paradigm is created through us, through our choices and through our actions. Again, thank you for listening, and namaste.